Alright, greetings everybody, it is Umbra for take 2, because apparently take 1 has audio issues, but I'm trying to keep an eye on it. I don't know where those issues came from, there wasn't any problem with the recording as far as I can tell, so cool, thanks. Alright, so let's talk about the news, shall we? So the news is that there is not going to be another live stream before the end of the year. Originally, we had a live stream that announced Nier, and from what I understood, there was supposed to be one more live stream to announce the other character, but maybe they changed their mind or whatever. And here we are, as it has just been announced in-game, and what feels a little unceremonious, but I don't know, maybe they just didn't want to do a promotional video and show it, whatever. So let's go ahead and talk about what's going on. So first off, JP will be getting a story update for New Year's. What's interesting is that this story update is actually 1 hour before the update, before everything else, which is curious because when this was announced, I was kind of like, wait a minute, are they going to do something special? Is this going to be like an introduction to the character? But then they wouldn't have to like not announce that character. I want to come back and talk about this basically in a second because it is a little bit weird, and I'm adjusting my desk, that the story update is so big that it is coming like 1 hour earlier. Maybe they want people just to have the resources from it. Maybe they just want to drum up some hype, but curious to say the least. All right, moving on and talking about other things. Let's go ahead and just jump right into the characters. So first off, I guess spoiler, but I think the news has made the way around and it's not that far off on global. So yeah, Lucio from Ashes of the Apocalypse is our next character, and this is an upgraded, fully gacha Lucio. You will not be getting this one for free, but if you get lucky, maybe you'll get it for cheap. Things to note: 100 cost, is a sword type character, has a new main job. Battle axe is the secondary, and fighter is the tertiary. 100 costs. So yeah, he is going to be at least a little bit difficult to get. Talking about his kit, from what we know of the preview, and I actually just need to bring this back up. I did have it, but you know, obviously didn't take in the previous video. Limit burst, 2 consecutive damage hits against a target or targets. CT down small after removing barriers from up to 3 targets. So this is my general translation of this. I could have made a little bit of a mistake. Or sorry, it's not barrier, but it's like protection on it. So taking a look at this limit burst, its range is particularly pretty good. If you're selecting 3 targets, that's really, really strong. And removing protect is fine. Not every character uses it, but there are certainly places where this will just be powerful against other opposing teams. And 2 consecutive damages with CT down is just a pretty good thing to have. You're getting a lot of value out of this limit burst, feels like. Speaking of lots of value, the second ability, previewed, single target attack resistance for allies within range for 4 turns. It should be noted that it is the cross style of an AoE, but it actually has a little bit of flexibility as you can move 1 unit or 1 panel away from Lucio, which in my eyes just makes it much more flexible than a lot of previous abilities where it has to be like the units have to be left, right, front, or back of the character. So this is pretty good. You're also getting increase in chain resistance, restores own AP, and gives an effect that reduces damage taken for 3 turns. Also gives an effect to remove all buffs when the target is hit by an attack. So this is just one of those common things for new units of an ability that does a lot of stuff all at once. So single target resistance is just great. Always love that. 4 turns is also particularly a long time. 1 turn longer than what most other units can do. Increases elemental chain resistance, which protects you against chaining. Restores own AP, which is great. Gives it the reducing damage for 3 times is interesting. I'm curious if that's on all damage or just physical. I assume it's on all damage, but although I assume this is for just Lucio, it would be ridiculously powerful if it gave it for other units too. And I assume that giving the effect that removes all buffs from when a target is hit is only to Lucio as well, because that is just generally way too strong to give to every unit that is buffed by this. I want to see the actual like description in Wotv Calc before I get too excited, just to make sure that there aren't anything that, you know, that it's just kind of worded weird. But needless to say, I think this ability is strong for a lot of reasons. All right, next ability is, and last one, destroys barriers that reduce physical damage, then damages up to 2 targets. So much like his limit burst, hitting multiple targets with single target attacks, lots of flexibility based on the range, and getting rid of barriers is a big thing. Means that he is either going to just enable a lot of other DPSs, or he's just going to enable himself. Either way, okay. Taking a look at his, we get AoE resistance off his master ability and AP up of 30%, which is generally pretty damn good. As for the VC, as all VCs are now, Hollow Vision card, 60 cost, and a job VC for Swords of the Warrior group, so that basically tells us where Lucio is. What's also interesting about this is that Bartz is in that group. Not that Bartz is particularly relevant anymore, but maybe some good synergy, possibly. Taking a look, we also have bows and staffs for black mages. Unfortunately, no great swords on this one, even though Astrius is in the picture, he is not getting any of the benefits. Too bad. It could have made for a really interesting sword team. Of course, there's also a reason that might not be, but elemental chain resistance for the party and single attack resistance up. At maxing out this VC, you get reaction prevention rate, and for duels only, increasing slash attack resistance penetration rate, which is really good for the sword users on this VC. Bow and staff, probably not so much. The last thing to talk about is just that for duels only is just really way more valuable, since a lot of stuff in this game is PvP focused. So I quite think that this VC will be pretty strong, more than likely. Also because the unit that has this equipped gets attack up and area attack resistance up. Very defensive VC, but still potential for offensive. And Vision Mastery gives attack up 3% and pierce attack resistance only for duels, which is pretty good. So yeah, combination of these two, it'll be interesting to see how powerful they are when you put them together, but for now, good. Next up is Nier Automata 2P. So 2P is also coming to the game on the same day that Lucio will be showing up. Now, she is a 90 cost unit, makes her generally easier to get. New Fist unit, her weapon will be obtained from challenge boards and not from farming, which is kind of nice. She also has Grifford's main job as well as Thief, which probably is going to make her generally pretty fast and pretty defensive too, which is a good combination with strike type damage. We've already looked at her kit in a previous video, so check that out if you want. But needless to say, I think that her enabling other strike units and just being a good barrier destructor might make her a really good valuable unit, especially at a lower cost too. So next up, party ability is not super interesting. Guild battle focused on ice, earth, and light. Basically all of our new characters at the moment. Lucio will be getting a brand new sword, which I'm sure will be tailor-made to make him a much stronger unit. Next up, training missions for Lucio. Moving on, from Nier, a new extra quest will be added for Pod 042. This is different from the other pod. This one is completely and 100% farmable, and what its effect is, we'll have to wait and find out. New Year's will also be getting a special 3 pulls over 3 days. You get 6,000 lapis and a bunch of other bonuses, which, sure, cool, won't say no. And as for double lapis purchases, those will return for a new year. Banners are mostly what you would expect for 90 costs, and for Lucio for 100 costs, so not too terribly much to say. As for this, just some purchasing stuff. Don't think it'll be too amazing, but there you go. Some campaigns which will be going on for New Year's on JP, possibly on Global too. And there will be some special New Year's banners to kick off the new year potentially right. One that I will make mention of before we end this video is the 120 select or 120 unit banner. We saw one of these at the 4th anniversary, and we're seeing another one. Key note is that Helena is already on this banner, which is kind of a little bit shocking because it hasn't been that long since she came out, but there you go. So that is a general look. Hopefully this time the audio is just generally better and uploads properly. But there you go. Thank you so much for watching. And as for whether or not I'll be streaming close to New Year's, well, stay tuned. Note later. Thanks for watching. See you later.